what organization you represent, so.
Anne from Jones Coffee.
Your roommates in college.
Oh, funny.
This is like the 7 degrees of bacon right.
Oh my God.
You.
Good to see you, Anne.
Some stories there. huh?
Yeah, there are a few.
What'd you say?
I said there are a few stories.
Like Steve Ritz, founder of Fitness First and Chaska and Excelsior and vice president on the downtown board.
Lisa Oversky, Chaska Historical Society president.
Gary Vanal, Chaska American Legion.
Neil Amundsen, Hayloft Studios and other properties in town.
Sarah Amundsen, Hayloft Studios. Ellie Nigan, Hayloft Studios.
Dan Keyport, I own the Chaska Depot Building and I'm president of the Downtown Business Alliance.
Jen Angel, I'm the administrator for the Downtown Business Alliance.
Jeff Kurth representing the county for the Highway 41 Anglo project.
I'm Sarah Rennie, communications consultant on behalf of the county for the Highway 4110 project.
I'm Julie Grove. I'm with the city.
Sydney Cipher, Parks and Rec.
Steve Curtis, Southwest Metro Chamber of Commerce president.
Melissa Carlson, Nicolay Bank, Chaska, and Chanhassen, and then treasurer of the downtown.
Michaela Hatfield, City Council and liaison to the Downtown Business Alliance.
Krista Mark, I'm with the city.
Louise Sherman, city.
Wonderful, thank you. And we've double and triple checked our bylaws and yes, we have a quorum this week. So that's a good thing. So I need a motion to adopt the agenda and approve the minutes. Moved by Melissa and a second. By Steve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report, Chris, what's your name over? Yeah.
I'm okay. Kristen from the library is on as well. I think that's all we have on the Zoom right now.
Okay,
But I-
wonderful.
So treasurer's report, not a whole lot has changed. We had our Q2 check deposited. We saw that check that we had out for Michael for doing the finances for the downtown business clear. So that's really been the biggest things. And like we've talked, we don't typically do a lot of spending in Q1 and Q2 other than administrative pieces. We just paid GoDaddy, which is the website domain, things like that. That's $100 a year that we spend. Not a lot happening right now. We're going to talk today about some new spending for some new events and some other things that Julie and I have been working with Max on, and potentially some social media spend in a different direction than what we have historically done. But we're really set up, I think, to not only fund the events that September through December, but maybe try a few new things to see what engagement we can get. I'll talk a little bit about the newsletter and some other stuff after we get through road construction, excuse me, before we get into things. But let's go ahead and, Carrie, let's go ahead and approve this.
Okay.
Oh, Jen, the CDBA is actually down $20 for a stop payment fee. So.
Huh? Okay.
65 then? Yeah. Okay. And that has been an agenda item that we've kicked around, like that money has been there for a decade.
Yeah.
It's old dues when we used to charge to be a member of the CDBA. So I think that's another discussion point. Do we want to get rid of that and stop giving Mel paperwork to do? And by get rid of it, we've talked about donating it somewhere or using it somewhere down here. And there's some things that we're going to talk about today that maybe that money would make
Sure.
sense to use. So we'll kind of table that and leave it for the bigger discussion.
Okay. And maybe one more introduction before we have a motion to approve the treasurer's report. So Carrie.
Morning, Carrie Thompson, Sugar Creek Chiropractic. I'm on West Second Street, also building owner on West Second.
And board member.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, having completed the introductions, can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report? It has to be one of the board members, so.
Well, we'll make
Can't
you
be
one.
our treasurer. Okay.
I'm the treasurer, it can't be me.
I'll second the motion.
All right, so I've got Steve down, I've got you down for making the motion. And we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And that's a nice segue into the idea that we are always looking for new board members. So if you're coming to the meeting, that's awesome. And you could also take on some of the responsibility of being a board member. And ultimately what that means, if you're not in one of the president, vice president, secretary, or treasurer roles, you are a member at large and you're part of the board and able to vote and lean in and support things. And really help us drive the direction that we're going. So while we do appreciate everyone coming, we would love to expand the board and have some new and fresh ideas.
And I would just add to that, with Jen as our administrator, there's not a tremendous amount of work to do outside of the board meetings. But I think the value that some new board members would bring to this organization is potentially huge because some of us tired old dogs have been doing this a long time and some fresh ideas would be a big help, I think, to the downtown business community. So I'd encourage you to consider that and see Jen or see me if you'd like to throw your hat in the ring. So thank you.
All right, well. it's time
Road
for
construction, let's start with that.
construction.
Oh, we do,
Couple
yes.
slides.
I was at NDSU for a year, the grant assistant.
Just looking at this.
Next slide.
You can go to the next slide, please. Thank
So
you.
just an overview of our overall project schedule, completed tree clearing in the spring. Right now we're working on the Bavaria intersection, the Brandondale Trail extension on the east end of the project. And then big news on Monday, we'll be closing down 41. I'm assuming most people have seen the signs and activity going around. So as part of that, this weekend, we'll also be open the Bavaria intersection, north, south, and west, east from that intersection will stay closed. And then later this year, or early next year, there'll be the Park Ridge Drive intersection or the furthest part to the east of the project for the major road construction, and then landscaping as well. Next slide. Just kind of an overview of the map. The project runs from Highway 212 all the way east to Audubon Road. The different colors represent the different phases, kind of talk through that. On Monday, we'll be in the blue phase in the middle with the closure of 41 to Bavaria. Anyone in the White Oaks neighborhood or the businesses along White Oaks will be able to access them from Highway 41 on the south side. There's a cutout in the median to allow for left turns into White Oaks and right turns out. Next slide.
Will that be controlled in some way?
No, because it's a free movements and it's only the one direction. There isn't any conflicting right away. So it'll have signage, but it won't have anything else. Next slide. Kind of the detour maps and all these are located on the website as well. But for traffic going around the 41 closure, altogether trying to get through, the main detour route is 212 to Chaska Boulevard. Next slide. And then we've been doing a number of internal local access maps for different businesses in the area. So if there is any need for that or questions about that, you can reach out to Sarah. This one's just showing the White Oaks neighborhood. The access will be maintained off 41 on the south side, and then they'll go north-south across Angler for this phase of construction. Next slide. This one's showing the access to the community center, the various schools, and how to get to those during this phase. Slide. This one is showing another access route to Bavaria. If people are local traffic, they can now use Bavaria, come down Victoria to 41. And we do ask that if people are using those, trying to get around either the White Oaks neighborhood or the White Oaks businesses, that they don't go through the residential area on the south side of England there. Next slide. And then just, we have project updates. Hopefully people that are interested or impacted are signed up for our regular news blasts and other information. And there's a lot of good information on the website, just with the detours, the project updates and other contact information.
Question. I had it in my head that the 41 for the bulk of the project would be down to one lane, but it's closing on the 16th. What is the expected duration of that closure?
Late summer.
So that'll be closed all summer then?
Yep.
So not one lane, but closed?
It takes a little bit to build
The roundabouts
Yeah.
are hard to build in phases because
Yeah.
it's not, like
Yeah.
you can do it outside and
Right,
inside.
And the tunnels are going in, right? So that'll.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
2 underpasses as well.
And it's,
Pedestrians.
sorry, it's actually the first roundabout of its kind in the state. So it's pretty cool. And so it's new and it's gonna actually have overhead signage before you enter into the system.
Okay.
Yeah, so the county's actually working on a informational video tutorial right now for the community to use. So.
Yeah. It's got its ledger out. I think I'll reach out and see if we can put together a little image that just shows how from like uptown to get to downtown. Like that, the Bavaria Valley, or
Sure.
whatever is a good one.
Yep.
When the new Creek Roadway that I got lost in, don't even ask me how. You get back there and you're like, which way's north and south? There's no mountains. But that, I think that would also be another good route to show.
That's a route that we did encourage people to take is to come down Savannah
Yeah.
to Big Woods.
So Elise, is there maybe like signs we could put up temporarily? Maybe the county could do that for us,
The movable trailer.
Yeah.
That has, yeah.
because you can get lost back there.
And
Go
then
around the roundabout.
I'll share it and then you can use it for the market too.
Yeah.
So that we can, so that it's clear how to get down.
Yeah, and that was one other thing I was just gonna say, reach out as we move into this next stage with any questions, communications needs, support. It's one of the reasons the county brought me on. Happy to help in any way we can. We understand this is gonna be the biggest impact to the downtown business area, this stage of construction, so we're here to help. Yep, I think that's all I had. And then, just a reminder that all these maps, we know they're hard to see on these TVs, but they're all on the project webpage, so.
And we have had input from the city on the traffic control and additions or modifications, one of them being the area, the residential neighborhood south of Engler. So we are up for that. The county is up for supporting that if there's requests, but I would ask the first week, expect a lot of changes and delays, and as traffic finds its way around, it's hard to try to change traffic control after you put it up once and people are starting to get used to it.
We know it's frustrating. Reach out. We're here to help. We want to partner with you.
All right. Well, that was exciting.
How many laps do you have to do around it to do a 5K?
Once you figure it out, Steve.
First of its kind, that's pretty cool.
All right, thanks all.
Okay,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you.
See ya.
All right. So you remember last time we talked about reincarnating our newsletter. So many, many years ago, we used to do a newsletter. It didn't have quite so much bang for the buck because there were other ways that people got information, right? The Herald was out there. Social media felt a little different. It was a little newer a decade ago. And so we didn't have a very good open rate. I mean, like a 1% open rate. And it takes time to put a newsletter together. Back then, it was just us doing it. Now Dooley is doing a separate newsletter down here for the businesses, so we can borrow some of that content and share it out. So we're really coming up with about half the content. So it's less time invested because we've got a kind of a nice partnership going. So we did our inaugural newsletter. My plan is to send it out the first week of the month. Julie's is coming out kind of end of the previous month, so I'm using the first week of the following month to push this out there. If you frequent our website a lot, you know that we do allow people to submit emails there to be a part of this. So over the course of the last couple of years, people have joined in to receive information from us. We had about, I think, 300 that we pulled together that way. We also were able to get emails from Max's community survey. So as people did that survey with Max, they submitted their email. We picked up about another 400 there. So all in all, we have about 764 emails that we delivered this newsletter to. We had a 69.2% open rate, which in email marketing is, I mean, shall I say unheard of. It's just a really high open rate. We also received feedback back. People emailed because our contact information is at the bottom of our newsletter. They emailed me and said, like, this is awesome. With the Herald gone, it's great to get information like this. And, you know, thanks for sharing all the dates ahead. Like, there was just a lot of engagement on this, which is what we want. It took me, because Julie pulled the content, she pulled 2 of the articles. So if you didn't see the newsletter, I did send it to all the businesses that we normally send to too. That's how we got to 764. There's some math in there. It had 2 articles, a business spotlight that was done on Nicolay, and then an announcement for Cooper's and what's happening there. And then if you were also on social media, you saw that people screenshotted that. Didn't share the newsletter, just screenshotted that and shared that. So there was, for once, I would say, a lot of positive comments on social media regarding downtown. So I think a lot of what we've been talking about is how do we kind of turn the corner and bring that positivity back. I think that announcement was one of them. And I know there's a couple other new businesses joining down here that will be able to, I think, each month kind of announce those things as well and keep that momentum going. So those were the 2 pieces there. And then we did an event focus for the rest of the newsletter. So we shared all of the summer dates from everything happening down here, the market, the music, Fire and Ice, all of those. And then we also shared our save the dates for our events for the fall. So our Halloween event is out there. Hometown Holiday is out there. The tree light, you know what I'm saying? The other tree lighting
Yeah.
is out there. So that felt good.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
So, you have emails, you're pushing it. From that, people have an opportunity to subscribe to it?
Yes.
They do. And so do you have a data on that? Like did people, not that you, I don't mean to put you on the spot. I was just curious.
So we didn't get any subscriptions from that. So
Okay.
which would lead me to believe there wasn't a lot of like sharing that to your neighbor who doesn't get it. We didn't see that happen a lot, but we did have decent click through into our social and our website. And by decent, I mean, we had 4. So the engagement with this was really reading the content, and that's as far as it went.
The reason I ask is, people come in, told them about it, and then I just forwarded it to them.
Okay.
I'm wondering, because we talk a lot about it with customers, is there a way to do a QR code where I can say, if you want the events going on downtown, QR code is at our point of sale. They can take a look at it. Especially the folks from the Edelwood community who are new are asking, what do they do for 4th of July around here? And so I was just like randomly emailing stuff out. And then I get my customers' email, right? But if there was a QR code, I think.
I love that.
And I think that has to probably come from the city. That would be another way just to grow subscriptions and readership.
Yeah, in fact, that's something that I can create the QR code, give it to Wagner and have them print it and then,
On a card.
yep, and kind of seal it so it stays, and then we'll get it out to businesses. I think that's a great idea.
Especially the younger folks coming through, she was sharing, they see a QR code and it's like a moth to the light. They no matter, they don't even know what it is. And let's
find out.
Yeah, which amazes me. So
It's really good to hear, because we jumped on the QR code bandwagon when it was new, and then it kind of fizzled out, and it's back, and it's like a thing now, because I think
people want to.
you don't need an app. You can just, it's quick and easy now to engage with it.
Yeah.
I will take that and we'll get them out, because I think, because we have good engagement, and the idea that sharing that and people signing up, it's just another way, I think, to build that subscription base. Awesome.
To your point about the reading rate, I was at the Legion last Friday having a beer. And I had a customer come up and former customer actually, and tell me, I read this article and I just figured out how to pronounce the name of Nicolay Bank. And I was like, I wrote that. Glad you saw it. So they're paying attention.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk a little bit about some spending on social and whatnot. There is some of that was with someone else maybe taking over and creating the newsletter. I don't think we need to do that. It took me maybe at most an hour to take Julie's content, to drop some of our content in. And even if we're creating our own content, I mean, I'll be honest, I used ChatGPT. I gave it the city website and just said, pull all the events. I gave it the chamber and it just pulled it, formatted it, and I dropped it in, and it was done in less than 5 minutes. So I think we can probably own this and not have a huge spend to create good content and get it out there. But I'm also open to feedback too. And it could be that, the first year it's really easy because everything is new and fresh. And then as we keep going, like, what do we keep talking about? I don't know. We'll see. But I would say feel pretty good about the first volume that went out there. What I will say is I kind of goofed up in the sense that I realized as I was writing it, we needed a name for it. And that really should have been a discussion we had last month. Had it come up with ideas. Oh, can I not? Yeah, preview. So I called it Buzz on the Bricks and gave it a byline of the heartbeat of historic downtown. Okay, everybody okay with that?
Well done.
Well done.
Well, it was all ChatGPT. So.
Especially with the new like marijuana.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on.
That'd be Buzz on second.
Just tried coffee out my nose.
So, yes.
Oh.
So, and are we getting all these events on Carver County Local News as well on their event
So
page?
that's, I actually had that as a question to ask because
Yeah.
I've submitted events via the form.
Yes.
And it's for a lot of events. I don't know how you're doing it. It's really hard.
Yeah.
Can we just make one document with all of our stuff and give it to you all? Because that form is great for one event, but when you're trying to get
Yeah.
like 14 events in there, it's
Okay.
time consuming.
Um,
Like if the three of us did a shared Google Doc
yeah.
and did it in the format that you wanted,
The challenge is the newspaper is all volunteer.
Yeah.
And the people that are doing this are stretched already.
Yeah.
So that's, but let me take that back to
Okay.
the board and we'll deal with
Okay.
that because that's a great question.
yeah, because I think the three of us could work together and get everything for the year that we know of in a place and get it out there.
Okay, oh, just a related observation, that might be that newspaper, that electronic newspaper might be another channel for events that might be considered newsworthy. Right, so not just here's an event and the date and the time and the place, but did you know that we're now doing X and it's
Yes.
gonna involve these other groups and whatever, so.
I think what we're gonna talk about for the plaza would definitely be something that
Yeah,
we would want
exactly.
an article.
An article in the
Yes.
paper and, you know, anybody can submit articles to the paper. We actually have a vetting process for regular contributors, but, get on the list. We need, it's all volunteer and we could use help in that area as well.
I would
So,
imagine as readership grows, you could solicit the community and you'd get an outpouring.
yeah.
of all sorts of stories, you know?
I had someone asked to have something put in the next article already, like,
Oh.
so I mean, you just never know what's gonna happen when you put something out there, and I did not think that we would get that kind of engagement, so I think we have to keep it up with fresh stuff. So.
People let me know what they want me to put in there.
All right, so, feel like I'm missing something else I wanted to cover before we dove into everything, but I don't
We'll
think so.
come back to the activation of the Paseo stuff.
Yeah, I've got a presentation,
All right.
that I'm gonna share. Where is my Zoom? You're used to working on big monitors and then you go to just a tiny little laptop screen. It's just not the same. Okay, share. This. Definitely user error. Hey, you.
If there's not, let me know and I'll grab some other.
Yeah.
Next time I'll bring two.
Is it green though?
Yeah.
I'll grab some too.
Oh, that's not what I want to do. All right, hold on, folks. So while I'm figuring out my technical difficulties here, what Julie and I have been doing is meeting with Max periodically some of the initiatives that came out of his work. We haven't really tackled anything yet from the U of M around Paseo activation. We've really focused on kind of the key pillars that he shared. Like, how do we create a series of events down here that's new, that's tied together? The one that we're looking at right now is kind of a partnership. We're hoping with the Legion, with the History Center, and with the library to do something down in the plaza. The other, I wonder if I take it out of presenter mode. All right, let's try this. There we go. Now I just got to get back to Zoom. So part of that has been working on the event piece. The other part has been trying to tackle our social media piece. One of the things that we used to do is with Orange Ball Creative, who has recently moved back to downtown, they're above Patron. They used to do free seminars for the businesses. Back then, it was kind of just general marketing. I tapped them and asked them if during our next July meeting, because we used to try and do them separate from the July meeting, and that was another time people had to come and engage, and that was difficult. So I'm going to take our July meeting, and they're going to come and present a boot camp on social media and AI. So tools that businesses can use to really drive what is changing in social media. As we've talked, just putting a post out there doesn't garner the same results that it did years ago. Things are about reels and stories, things that are more engaging. So they're going to talk about that and how businesses can drive that, and also how businesses can use AI to help create some of that, what prompts work, ways that you can optimize using that to help create some of your content. So right now, John is thinking he's got about 45 minutes of content, and then we'll leave it open for QA. And then if there's any other hot topics, we'll have a little time to cover those. That'll go out in my recap today so the businesses can see it. I think I had it in the invite. I think I said it in there, but it'll definitely go out as a big block so that people know that they can join via Zoom or come in person for that piece. But that is much like he used to do. They're kind of donating their time to do that, which is awesome.
What is the name of that organization?
Orange Ball Creative.
Orange Ball.
Yes.
Yeah, John Gamatis.
Yeah, they are fantastic.
Yeah, they had some really nice seminars for us here a couple of years ago.
He's awesome.
Okay, I'm gonna try sharing it first. Then we're gonna full screen this. So that's what I'm missing that. Let's go down here. Screen, start slideshow. That did not work.
You unclicked full screen.
Did I unclick it? You'd never know that, like, I do this for my day job, would you?
Nope.
I did unclick it. There we go.
Look at that.
45 minutes later, folks, we got a presentation. All right, so this was something that Max really put together for us. So I'm not going to dive into every slide in full detail, but I will share this deck out so that you all can see it. But really, the context here is that he's taking all of the work that he did and helping us figure out how we activate on that work. So some of the goals that we talked about were how do we best use our time and funds to drive activation and to engage the community and kind of pull that positivity back. So there's a work plan in here, there's funds, there's staff time. That's what we're going to talk about today. These things came from the resident survey. We talked about some of those themes, but it really is that there's mixed feelings about downtown. There is mixed feelings around, is there parking? Is there not parking? How do I get down there? Is there high quality food that is destination for me to go down there? what shops are down there. There's just an education opportunity. Part of that education opportunity is getting people down here. There is still some of that feeling, and we're gonna feel that feeling because 41 is closing in 3 days, around how do you get downtown? So that's part of what we'll work with to get some visuals out there to show people that just because 41 is closed does not mean there are not a variety of ways to get down here. All right, so these were the priority items that we wanted to talk about. Business types, we had a lot of focus on a grocery store, problem solved, folks. That is good. We still have the focus on getting some high-end eateries down here. One of the things that we're going to do is partner with Andy at Red Bench. He's got a lot of really good connections to drive some of that engagement there. If you have an interest in assisting with that, let us know. And we will tap you in, because I think the more ideas that we have, the more connectivity, the more connections outside of Chaska to maybe engage with people coming in. That's an option. Obviously, housing, more higher end housing being built downtown was something that people voted on. You'll remember these votes came from the working session we did here. Gathering spaces, more places downtown that people can gather in. There's been a lot of discussions about City Square Park and what's not happening there. So we're looking to activate 2 other areas in the discussion we'll have today. And then, of course, we already talked about restaurant destinations as well. I kind of tied that into the business types when we talked earlier. All right, so this is a draft of our work plan. We're going to put it before you all for discussion and potentially approval. For physical spaces, we'd like to add some amenities to City Hall Plaza. We'll talk about what that means. And we are moving forward with the transformation of what we had been calling the Pocket Park. I think that sounds a little better than vacant lot. This is the lot that sits in between Wagner and
Casualty.
Thank you. So it is just a vacant lot right now, but we'll see some things that we're thinking about doing. Part of the transformation in City Hall Plaza, because it is here, would be to pilot a summer event series. You'll remember we've talked that series of events that stick in people's minds tend to do better than one-off events. So we'll talk through a pilot of something there that we're going to do, hopefully in conjunction with everyone in that area, so that there's a lot of things happening. The library has story hour on Saturdays. We're thinking of an ice cream truck. We've got the history center that maybe can engage with that. There's events at the Legion a little bit later in the day, so we can kind of create a whole Saturday afternoon downtown. We would be doing some music as part of that. So we'll dive more into that, but testing it, piloting it, see if it works. The other thing that we did is we stepped out and we looked at whether or not we had the ability to really create social media that needs to be, that we need. So we have one piece of social media, and that's my phone to take pictures on and to create videos with. That's not how people are doing it these days. They have video cameras and actual cameras and editing software, and time goes into this to create stuff that people are engaging with and sharing. We don't have those resources. So we got 2 quotes from third-party marketing agencies. Orange Wall Creative is one of the quotes that I'll share, and NAP is another social media company that we sat down with and walked through some of this stuff with. The numbers are going to be big because we're paying people for a lot of hours. It takes hours to create these reels and things. But I think we've got an opportunity again to pilot this and see what kind of engagement we can get, and see whether or not it's something we'd like to continue with. Or do we get enough engagement and then we look at ways that we could maybe layer onto this. So that's what we're going to cover today. So City Hall Plaza. The idea here is that between the collaboration with the 3 other, I'll say businesses down there, that we could bring our chairs and tables over from City Square Park, locate them down there, maybe do some other fun things that make the space a little more engaging, games and whatnot, and then do this pop-up event. I think we've got a schedule of the pop-up event. Oh, we don't. So what we were thinking was library story hour being the kickoff at 2 o'clock. We want to support the library. A lot of the conversations that we've had with the library is we have great engagement, but we know not everyone knows about what we're doing down here. So I think there's a really great partnership there. So we kick off with library story hour, maybe bring some books out, some games out. We would engage probably an ice cream truck or a chest of ice cream sandwiches. So very small output for us there. We would also engage the music. So we would have music during this time. Budget, and he had $1,000 tagged as the CDBA's or the SSD's responsibility. I think we can do it for a lot less than that. The individual that I used when we grand opened the underpass, I want to say.
The ice cream?
What?
Oh, the singer you're talking
The
about?
singer, I think he was like 200 for like a 4-hour stint. So I think we can theme the music. He can play different genres. We did a lot of research like as to what other communities are doing. And this idea of genre-based series, where like one week he does kid music, the next week he does rock, then he does country, is a really easy way for us to get the same person. So they're used to the area, they're used to things. They just plug in, play, go, and we're good. And we don't have to spend anything. He brings his own gear. Like we just pay him for the couple hours that we're going to use him, and like we've done for other events, and we're done. So the tie-in then would be the History Center maybe could do something or just be there and open so that we, again, show people what is downtown. And then the Legion, we talked about maybe you all have bags, like maybe the bags could come out and people could play bags. If there's a burger special, we've got other food happening. But the idea is to engage families down here for this window, this short piece. So the library kicks it off. We've got music during that time. There's ice cream, there's some games to play. And we run that series maybe 6 to 8 times, end of summer. So we were thinking maybe starting it up post 4th of July and running it up through mid to late August.
Did you say the days of the week that they would be on?
So we're targeting Saturday afternoons.
Okay, thanks.
Because library's got story time then. We kicked around other ideas, but we've got Thursday night with music, and this felt like a nice balance. People, that's too much to do on a Thursday night, could come on the weekends and kind of engage with something similar to what's happening at the community market. So all in all, I think our commitment, I've got to double check on his cost, because as we know, everything has gone up, so he might be a little more than he was a year and a half ago. But I think we could probably be out of this in under $2,000 to throw like a 6 to 8 series event. So I'll stop talking for a second. Thoughts? Ideas?
Have you thought at all about how we brand this?
So that would be the next piece.
Okay.
We need obviously a name for the series. And then we would most likely want to create a logo for the series as well. So that it, again, has a presence as we get it out there.
Right.
You're gonna have other areas of downtown activated so people will kind of go around, or is it just gonna be focused downstairs?
So the idea is that event. I think one of the things that we could talk about is the walking tour. I think that's a really great way to engage people. And I know you all were reprinting some brochures. You asked me, and I did not have that idea then, but that could be something that we do is we print some more of those walking brochures and have that available as a way for people to kind of get out and explore. But as far as activating during that event, like other activities happening, other than letting the businesses know we are doing this, and then what we do with anything when we do an event down here is we pull content from the businesses and share it out as part of that. So if you all are having sale that day, or if you're open, like all of that would be part of the marketing that goes out as well.
So two things. I think you could invite businesses even in like a sponsorship perspective, like where swag or freebies or things are offered, that then draw that connection. Sorry if you're going to go there next, but when you said like site furnishings for the area, I think the part of the branding is that if there are iconic elements in the space where people are taking pictures in front of or with and posting, they continue to see the same thing and it becomes a space identifier. And I don't know if you're gonna go there, but that, I think it all ties into the branding as well.
Hawk on a brick.
So I had
Hawk on a brick.
It's only been a year and a half in the works.
Since the flowers were out, and so the thing that I noticed when I walked through the plaza this morning is the back of the History Center is a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Not.
Oh.
My Lisa, what's
Yes.
going on?
Don't get too excited.
What do you got going on?
It's seriously, it's nothing major. It's a 3 foot by 6 foot sign that says Chaska History Center around the corner and then our logo. So it's not completely blank back there. It's not going to be the most exciting thing, but it will at least, because people see the back of the building and they don't realize we're there.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're adding that.
Permit, and did you get permission from the HPC?
I talked to Liz and got everything approved and the sign is being made and Brian Junk's gonna hang it and. Pardon?
That's impressive. That Brian, doing everything.
Yeah, okay, we could move the mustache over there.
Yeah.
And probably.
That sounds the
Yeah, who
mustache.
owns the mustache? And I don't understand the significance of them.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's just a silly
That
thing.
mustache- that mustache isn't that cool.
I
Anyway.
like the new. paint
It's
job.
cool. I wouldn't take a picture with it and put it on my Instagram.
So,
Well,
but
There's no-
yes, I think,
No offense.
yes,
I
you do
really love that mustache.
is a reason to,
Something insta-worthy.
yes, you do.
Ask someone young and they will drive it.
Mustaches are in. There's a lot of people with
And
mustaches.
beards.
Yes.
20-year-olds with mustaches.
But if,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
so,
But it ties into the theme too. I mean, if you're gonna theme it something.
yeah, I mean, this
has to be memorable.
furnishing should be
oversized
in an
brick.
ecosystem of the branding, ideally. One thing that I'm exploring, and this comes a little bit from my previous life and working in historic buildings, because we all are very fond of our brick, is there are ways to temporarily layer elements onto brick that feel right. That could be illustrative and graphic in nature. 3M makes a product that you can put on and peel off, where the brick would not be harmed, but it would be a way to evolve branding and even get to a place where it becomes a very iconic selfie or just photo moment. We see a lot of photographers come through and they want to use the side of the building for their senior pictures, right? So people want to be taking pictures with the brick. And so if you take the brick and make the brick even more special and then iconic, I think it will continue to draw people during the event and then not during the event.
So the 3M thing is interesting because we've talked for years about the angel wings and how they're such a destination. And then last year we talked a little bit about like, could we do something with the hawk or a brick? But we've always talked painting, which is more permanent and a bigger decision.
The technology out there is amazing. And I wonder too, I wonder too, if because it's on the History Center, if there isn't, because we were just talking about ghost tours and things like that, if it isn't making a larger than life historical element. So that is not only pays homage to what you're doing in the building, but then becomes part of the history that's shared, but it's looks cool enough.
Like a vinyl wrap that you can do for like on a
Yeah,
car, but on a
these,
wall.
For a giant Starbucks siren, that's the name of their big logo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mermaid. We were able to put it on the side of a historical brick wall in Chicago and with approval from 3 different historical agencies. And so I just think the technology is out there where you could do it. And even if it's up for the summer or if it's up for a year,
Right.
whatever, when you pull it away, it's not harming anything. And I'm sure there are other things beyond that, but there's a way to do it.
Okay, so Lisa, would you like? I know we have tapped you a lot to think about the history and how we bring it to life. I think this is, I mean, obviously the thing that comes to mind for me would be an easy one would be like hawk wings, right? Like that, we could easily do that. But there might be something else that has a little bit of tie to the History Center that we could bring to life. So if you would love to go away and think about that, I think Julie and I have talked like reasonably timing wise to bring this to life. We really couldn't do it any sooner than like mid-July. And we've also talked to that maybe that timing and running the series so it ends like towards the end of August. If we can tie the Pocket Park grand opening to like the next week, it would be a nice like segue into, hey, we did events here and now we have another space that we can do events. So that needs some more discussion, but we've got some time, I think, to maybe ideate on what we could put on the side of the building. And then for me to go do the research on what it would cost to do something with that kind of material.
Who's the target audience for the Saturday event?
So our target audience is families. Yes. Because that's, from the survey, that is really what came out, is that it's families who want to come down and explore and have things to do down here. And that's really what we've always thought too. And it was reinforced by what the residents said is.
They want to feel safe, right? That was a big part of
Yeah.
that survey.
Yep.
So,
But
yeah.
I think that is the nice thing about these two spaces that we're talking about bringing to life, is this is a fairly enclosed space, and the Pocket Park will feel that way too. That was part of what we talked through for design elements there, is fencing, things that made it feel like you could come and leave your kids and sit and have a coffee.
I would layer onto that, the safety with families, it's gonna be restrooms.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
whether you're tapping the nearby businesses
deal.
and or library or the city, and everybody's okay with that. But for example, at the Pocket Park, that means whoever is closest is gonna get, hey, can I use your restroom? And the business cannot fight that, so I think it's just something to think about.
I think that's an excellent point for the Pocket Park, and I don't think we'd really talked about that. Obviously here, we're in good shape, but, and when, like City Square Park has a portable, I mean, maybe we could relocate that to the Pocket.
Well, and the
Park.
restroom in the building that Patron is in isn't in the restaurant, so it could be,
Downstairs.
but it's down the stairs, and that's where I don't know with families and safety, if they're gonna feel okay with their kid running off and going in a basement.
Yep, that's a really good point.
Yep.
Your bathroom's really nice.
It is. It's lovely.
Who's got to clean it?
I don't.
So we've had conversations with the library. Max did some of that legwork for us. Legion and History Center, are you all interested in kind of partnering on this event series?
Anything that builds history downtown, we don't want to have anything to do with. Absolutely. I mean, whatever we can do as far as, we are opening our new exhibit this year, Women of Chaska, Grit and Grace. And so that'll be opening relatively soon. So there will be a new exhibit available. And there are some interactive family elements to that. And the walking tours are not a problem at all. Giving people maps, that is, having people staff it for, staff guided walking tour would be more of an issue, just because, again, we are so tight on staffing.
And it's a setup, but I think that's enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think just to your point, you all just being there and being open and maybe having something outside that is, I think, enough.
Board signs or signs
Yes.
welcoming.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
was just gonna say, I think that's something that should be part of the concert series too, is having, with whatever branding it is, having those signs out.
Yeah, we talked about doing a sandwich board. They're like really inexpensive, and it'd have the title of the event, the dates, the logo. And we'd probably keep it down there so that it became like a fixture and people could engage.
Sandwich boards you could borrow, I think.
Oh, you do?
I think so.
Oh, awesome.
They-
Then
they're
then
like-
I just have Wagner print the slip and we're done.
Yeah.
Pop over to Chaska when you get a chance and I'll
Okay.
watch them too.
So if we're good with the idea of the series, what I would do is go get concrete numbers for what we would be responsible for, and that would be this the building logo and the singer, the music. And then put those out probably via email for approval. Because I'd want to lock in the singer before our next meeting.
You want help with branding too, trying to figure out how you want to brand it?
Yeah, I think what also might make sense, is I think I can throw together some ideas. If anyone else has ideas, we can kind of ideate via email on them and then, kind of approve that via email
I
too.
think that branding for this kind of a series is really important. That,
And I think I'll also, ask Orange Ball, for some ideas too,
Yeah.
because they're really good at helping. And we use them for a lot of our, event branding for the fall
Okay.
events.
good.
How about just Brick City Music Series, something like that?
Or even buzz on the bricks music. I mean,
Yeah,
the
right?
total, the.
Use
theme
a
of your
newsletter.
Is great already.
That name's good.
I know.
So I'll work on those pieces. And then as part of that, we'll nail down the exact dates. I think the piece that we want to figure out is whether or not we could like grand open the Pocket Park as like the tail end of this series. So there's some continuity there. But otherwise, we're not looking to spend a ton of money. So what I think it would be is a little less than probably 2,000 for music and ice cream. And then potentially what the cost would be for the decal.
But don't you think you could get a few sponsors? Like, I'm pretty sure the chamber would be able to help with some sponsorship.
So we did talk about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we can put out there too. The other piece that we had talked about, and you kind of mentioned this, there used to be trees down there and we lost all the trees. So we know we need shade. So I need to come down on a Saturday afternoon and see what the shade situation looks and feels like. I have a tent, you know what I'm talking about.
That
those things.
pop up easy.
But it's Vikings themed and that doesn't really go on brand. So that might
I
be.
have one you can borrow.
Yeah,
Okay,
we have one.
awesome. Because we know shade and families is important. The other piece that we talked about that just slipped out of my head. Oh, it did leave, gone.
As you think about it, the other thought is if it does start getting to be popular event, more chairs would be needed. And maybe there's a way for, they're just like $25 Adirondack type chairs you could get from Home Depot. Maybe a business could sponsor one and have their logo on the back of a chair that stays down there too. So
I'd be happy to look to see if there's a way to wholesale them
Oh, yeah.
versus, Home Depot is affordable, but there might be even a better way to wholesale them. Yeah.
So that might be an option too.
Was my exact tie. The other thing we talked about was that, from a sponsorship perspective, there could be room for businesses to have their signage or like Linda Seller, you all, like we could decorate in the flower pot areas with an item from the business and a sign from the business as part of a sponsorship opportunity too. So I do think there are ways that we can also engage businesses in and have them showcase that they are down here. Like Coffee on Second Street. Like we don't want to throw up signs all over the plaza, but we also want to make sure that people know what else is down here too.
One thing I saw, and I brought it up before, and I have a picture somewhere in my phone, in a little town in Wisconsin that headed downtown, they had these garden flags all over their downtown that said Friends of Downtown. I don't think it was like Elkhorn or something. And it was like all the like sponsored businesses, and it was a mix of like businesses that were in that downtown and then bigger ones. And then I think they used those funds to support downtown things. So just an idea, because you could put little garden flags probably.
Yeah.
Downtown places. So.
I like that.
Have we ever talked about River City Days weekend? Trying to get either the River City Days committee or the city to get parking down here and have the bus come down here? I mean, especially this year with 41 being closed, nobody's gonna come south of southwest where they're got it. I mean, it would be just bring people down here. I don't know. I know that the Legion would be work with somebody if they need some extra money to get down there or something. It used to be our biggest weekend of the year. And now it's just a weekend. Cause nobody comes down because parking's up there and do we ever talk to them, anybody about that?
That's really River City Days Committee, but this is probably a good year to try that with 41 closed. Cause they have been using Southwest Transit. Southwest Transit can't get down here very easily from the or from the ramp this year. So that's probably a good year to approach them and say, you know, could we do parking downtown? And then have the
Bus
little
route.
trolley come
Yeah.
from, you know, you get picked
This
up at the
direction.
Legion, whatever, you get picked up in the City Hall parking lot. And people could park all over downtown. So it's a good year to try it.
I think it is a good year to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they've already reached out to Southwest Transit. I can ask if,
Yeah, you could find out if they've already had that discussion.
I'll ask Southwest Transit right now.
And then I can, is anybody close with anyone on the River City Day board that would want to take this as a to-do? Yeah.
I don't
Me
even know
neither.
what's on
I
it.
don't either.
Yeah.
Only
Okay.
question with, my only concern with that is they'd have to like park in lots down here and not on the street. You know, if they're gonna go to the event there, you wouldn't want them parking on the street
In front of.
and being
business.
gone for 5 hours. And yes, maybe they come in and get a little trinket at Hayloft for $20, but you don't want someone parking for
front of-
5 hours for
Yeah, I think
$25.
We want to be really specific where we had the pickup and drop offs in like the specific lots.
Yeah.
Drawn to those lots, parked there, got picked up there and went to the. Yeah, I think it's,
I can talk to Brad, he's the president.
okay. Steve, look at you stepping up.
Look at the look on his face.
River City. Face.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Tell your face.
On video.
You are a giver.
Well, we're bringing back our, Health Business Expo that Friday, so we partnered with them on that, so.
And there's that parking lot right by the bank there that the city owns.
Yep.
The bank's not open, none of the businesses are open on Saturdays, so that'd be a great
One
one
that's in
for.
like Cooper's, the old Cooper's there.
Well,
Or
it's
that little.
what we use
Yeah,
for
yeah.
parking, so that would be a good, it's not super big, but.
All right, well, let's talk about the pocket park. So this idea came up a couple years ago. Nate gave a short presentation to a few of us several years ago. And it just, obviously it takes the city work to bring this to life. But it definitely became a conversation again, because we don't have City Square Park. And this idea that we can activate in other areas is important. And again, that safety piece is important. So what we're looking at doing, these are some ideas, is an enclosed park, really kind of nature feeling. We looked at, there's a park in Minneapolis that has a cribbage board that's out of an old tree stump. You'll see here, there's a ping pong table that's made out of pallets and would be an old Chaska sign. So just a very like nature-y feel to the space, with a lot of kid-focused things. So that's, again, the idea of engaging families into a space. I'm gonna stop talking about it because Julie has probably an update on what we're thinking and where we're going, hopefully.
Well, it's something we'll have to work with our public works on, Brian and crew. Hopefully have them be able to put, so we're thinking fencing on 41 side that's low, but something that will keep kids from just running out and feel safe. And so you can see in as well. And really have it kind of be more organic, have a few elements like we're hoping Public Works can build a sign like that or a ping pong table like that. Maybe have Connect Four, some other just games that we leave out there, and also have it be organic. If families want to bring old toys that can be left there for kids to play, have seating. And the idea is just have it to be a spot that people can stay and hang out. It's going to be shaded between the two buildings, so it might be a cooler place to be. And then the city also owns some of the parking right next to that space. So it could also be a place that somebody has a food truck, or we, every once in a while for an event or something, have something else as part of it. And like Jen said, we haven't really worked the idea that we've come up with. It would be great to have it done by the end of the summer so that when the concert series gets done, we haven't fully worked out that timeline with our public works as they're doing the city square park, trying to get that finished too, but that's kind of what we're hoping for.
So some of the homework that we gave Lisa last meeting was to bring some history to potentially naming this park and our paseos. So I'll give you the floor to share some of your ideas.
So that little area was the Rex Theater, the original Rex Theater from the 1910s until 1980, something like that. And when I brought it to the board for suggestions as to what to name this space, everyone was pretty adamant that it has to have a connection to the Rex Theater because it was such a downtown entertainment spot. With that in mind, we came up with a few possible names for the pocket park, as it were, including, let's see, the Rex Nook, Theater Square, Movie Hollow, Rex Theater Park, and then there's like, a popcorn park or that sort of thing. There's a lot of little, but the question that was raised was, is there going to be signage explaining what that space was? And if there is signage, then something like Popcorn Park can make sense, but you can't just name it Popcorn Park or whatever if there isn't any explanation, especially since a lot of people who have been here for a shorter time frame are going to think of Rex Theater as the one on Fifth Street. And that was just the reincarnation of it. So anyway.
I love that idea
Mhm.
of tying it to the theater, and that actually gives you some direction for activation too. I mean, we had movie nights
Yeah.
on the wall. And,
Just-
I think, we could tie in your brick covering with,
Yes, there was a
So-
series years ago in
Yeah.
Uptown, when Uptown was a new and thriving space in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And it was on the parking ramp at the very top of the deck. Do you remember this? They used to do
Mhm,
Rocky Horror.
mhm.
And they had the enclosure where you'd come down the stairs. It was a big white wall, and then they projected movies. And people came out with blankets and, and families and sat and watched the movie, and it was amazing.
So, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, it was a free event. I think you have to pay for the rights to show the movie publicly. But it just drew people. I think it's like the reincarnation of the drive-in that doesn't, I think there's probably one left in Minnesota. But that's a pretty fun memory to make as a family.
Right now, if you walk that lot, the slope of the ground is something like that, which is kind of movie theater, but that would end up putting your screen on the 41 side. Not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, if you got a whole bunch of people just looking down that way, and then that way you've got a barrier between where the screen is and all the traffic. Because I think traffic's gonna be an important consideration there with the kids and the families. They're gonna be like, oh, that's 41. I don't want to go near that. I want a real barrier there.
Well,
And I understand you want to see the space when you're not in it. So you have to play that out.
and again, it's a design problem. I think if the Armitage was such that it could be open, but then during movie night,
Right.
something comes down, maybe it's just, sailcloth.
Structure like that.
Yeah,
sailcloth.
anyway, I think that it can be designed through.
Yeah.
But,
We talked about doing like community theater pop-up stage
Yeah.
there. And I don't know if that was because
Yeah.
of the theater, but when we first talked about doing that pocket park.
Popcorn Park is very catchy.
Popcorn park
It's
is
the
really
two
good.
Ps, yeah.
I thought it was, but it wasn't really.
Are people gonna expect popcorn when they go there though?
Pardon?
Well,
like
we
the second
we
and
can do
Bring
that.
your-
We can do that.
Second and third Theater
I was
Square
gonna
Movie
say,
Hollow.
popcorn's not hard to do.
Again, as long as there's signage to explain it
Signage.
and it just,
Yep.
it has to,
The
bring it
signage,
to life, that space.
the signage, just remember those panels that were on the wall behind you?
Yeah.
And those were designed for kiosks somewhere in town. You can do something similar to that to give an explanation. Where did those go? Remember those panels that were right back there?
They're finalizing them and they'll go.
Where are they gonna be placed?
They're gonna be placed kind of up by the entrances of the Seos.
Yeah, so we could have something similar design in that. The other, I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna suggest the Rex Theater, and that's long before I came to town, but I'd heard about it. The other thing I heard is as far as a social destination is people would go to athletic events, high school prep games, and Jay's Pizza or the movie theater, go over to Jay's Pizza. It was kind of that type of, so it was right across the street where La Hermosa is. And then signage, I just think the same design as we have with those kind of kiosks there.
I think we can definitely include signage in it. Because one of the things we did talk about was kind of that toy donation thought process that like you could bring down something that your kids weren't playing with anymore and leave it there. So that there was always something new for the kids to kind of engage with, and we can use that sign to explain the history of the park and then also the things that you can do at the park. Potentially, if we go that route. We can also, Public Works has to kind of grade the site, so I think the idea that we could do movie nights there is something I think we can share with them. And they'll know maybe how to make the site work for that and the park that we're thinking of. Oh, go ahead.
Is there a vision of what this is going to look like what the surfacing is going to be, if there's going to be plantings?
So, yes, there will be surface area. I can't remember what we discussed, if it was like more the rubber or if we were gonna go regular mulch, but there will be.
Or just kind of the gravel.
Or
I
just,
mean,
yeah.
part of it is lost
Yeah.
too, so. Yeah, we'll have to talk to. Figure it out, yeah.
Is it something similar to like the Lowry Nature Center? You know how it's more organic play? Is that the concept?
That's the concept that we're going with.
Like kids can use their imagination on how to use the structures that are there.
Yeah.
So it's not bound by certain parameters.
It's a very short distance though.
Yeah, because it didn't feel like we needed to create another park with park.
Yeah, like the Lowry Nature Center has like a twig and stick hut that
Yes.
the kids can just use it as their imagination, and then it doesn't require anything. You don't have to have things there or to get lost or fix.
That was, the idea was to get this up so that we've got another space and then see how it grows.
Yeah.
From our perspective at this point, there's no funding that we're looking at doing. But I think once we have a more concrete plan, if there is something that we'd like to add to the space, then we'll bring it back to the group. But at this point, we're just
Ideas
partnering
right now, yeah.
to bring it to life. All
I
right.
love the pie in the sky dream, but is there any chance any artifacts from that theater, like the seating or? Lisa said someone had a popcorn machine. They have
For,
tickets.
I don't know
No,
if
but
they
they did.
still do, but, but yes, we do have tickets from Gone with the Wind and things like that from the Rex Theater. And I'm still in contact with one of the original owners of the Rex, or the longtime owner of the Rex Theater, and I could see if she has anything to.
That'd be sweet.
Mhm.
The town ball tour, they were just in Shakopee on Wednesday, and I didn't know this, but some of the seating in their bleachers is from the Met and the Metrodome. I saw it was kind of a cool little, so anything like that I think would be, and never know, some people might have it. I don't even know who in town is kind of someone old enough, I don't know.
I think that's worth exploring because we had talked with this space as well, that that we wanted to have something that invites people to come take a picture to make a memory there. And that might be the direction that we go to bring that to life then. I mean, maybe, I don't know what, but something. Especially if we name it that. Did anybody have, so Popcorn Park was a winner. Were there any other names that Lisa shared that you all?
Emolian?
Yeah.
The Rex Nook, Theater Square, Popcorn Park, Popcorn Cranny, Movie Hollow, Rex Retreat or Rex Refuge, the Rex Hideout. It was apparently a speakeasy in the 30s too. The Ticket Booth Park, Cinema Cranny, Rex Theater Park, Rex Retreat Area. I mean, we just various things.
I liked Movie Hollow only because I think it is kind of an organic space and that does kind of feel naturey. Anything else you guys like?
I do like the Popcorn Park
And
one.
like-
I didn't at first, but I'm coming around on that one. I mean, it's quirky and unique and it has a backstory and I like that about it.
Kids
So,
love popcorn, right?
Yeah, and it gives you that opportunity to
To say.
Steam it some.
have popcorn.
Yeah, you got a couple popcorn vendors that you'd invite to come down.
Especially if you could find that old popcorn machine.
Well, and like that's what the grant.
Well, free popcorn.
Julie, do you want to take, I'm assuming we want to take that back to council and kind of share that as you guys work on the.
Yeah, if it's kind of coming from city funds and whatnot,
Yeah.
we'll have to take things back.
But it seems like that's kind of the number one. Right now.
Okay.
All right, let's talk last item. We did that. Oh, I knew there was one in here for the timing. So this was the timing that I mentioned. Library story time is 2 to 2:30. We would do live music from 3 to 4. I think I might want to do it a little bit longer, but we'll see as we kind of nail this down. That's just not very long. History Center, kids activity or some type of activity, 3 outdoor patio, bags potentially from some time, and then we do the ice cream vendor the entire time there. But I do think live music from 3 to 5 might make more sense. A little bit longer time frame, because if you miss 20 minutes of the music, it's done. All right. So one of the pieces that we've been talking about is that our social is not really where social is these days. We don't do a lot of reels because we don't have the equipment. We don't do a lot but share what the businesses are doing and or me doing lives and whatnot. So Max has worked with other areas where they've tagged in a marketing or PR firm to help create content. So we looked at 2 different companies, as I mentioned, Orange Ball and the Knack, and got quotes from both of them. So I'm going to share those with you. The idea here would be that they would take over our social. So we would work with them on that. Right now, I spend about an hour or 2 a week going into the business sites, finding what they're sharing, resharing it, that kind of stuff. So that's not getting us anything, and it's probably not getting the businesses anything. What we do is really blow it up. So they would take over all of the creation. They'd manage a content calendar. They do it in collaboration with us. This is the Knack's bid. They create copies for the posts. They do the hashtag research for the posts. They'd manage the engagement on all of our channels. In other words, they'd interact. So a lot of what you have to do on social to figure out the algorithm is interact on posts. And that takes a lot of time. So they would manage the engagement. They'd also create 1 weekly organic post for Facebook and Instagram and a monthly video post. They do 1 hour monthly event coverage as well. So what this means is there's a lot there. It takes them hours upon hours to go out and get all the content and then make it into a reel or whatnot. They would manage all of that. You'll see in here that they've got the monthly newsletter creation and send. Max had them add that in there. I don't think that they need to take that over from us. I think that's something that we can manage. You'll see the bid on there is $25.50 a month. It was $150 for them to do the newsletter. It is not taking me $150 worth of time to do the newsletter. So I think that's something that we can keep to ourselves. But I'm open to your feedback on that.
My biggest question is, I mean, if you listen to any of the marketing that's out there, they're talking, you should be posting 3 to 5 times a week, not once a week. And seems outrageous.
So they gave us 3 options. And
Yeah.
this was the only one I felt like we could legitimately afford because we cannot spend $35,000 to $4,000 a month for this kind of stuff. That's where you got more posts. So that's when I went to Orange Ball because they're local here.
Yeah.
And they do a lot with us. And I asked them I gave them what NAC did without the pricing, and he came back with the same price. So then I said, okay, I don't want the newsletter part of this, and I don't want TikTok. Like, let's just nail what we have today instead of creating other channels. And so this was what John came back with. $1,850 to $2,000 a month would get us 8 organic posts, 2 of them being video, a content calendar, management of them, and then again, that collaboration with us. This is a lot of money. I mean, when you think about the $58,000 that we have for a year to do all the stuff that we're doing, this is a lot of money. So what I was thinking we could do is pilot this. Maybe we try it for the last 6 months of the year and see what our engagement looks like. We have all of our analytics today around what our posts are doing and what they're generating. Maybe we try it and see if curated content drives engagement and drives people interacting with us. Yes.
I was gonna say, did they give you a look at their portfolio? Meaning, have you seen what they've done and do you feel like they'll be able to speak the voice of the city?
Yes. So both of them have done this for other organizations similar to us. And so we got a chance to see some of their work and what they've done. And it's definitely not an iPhone.
Yeah.
It's quality content that we can't create.
And on that then, could they help with, I think if you want to get the most momentum bang for the buck is that then the businesses get instructions around how to repost and lop on. And that's where you get the compounding effect.
Yes, and that is, I mean, I'm a big fan of Orange Ball. You know, we've worked with them really since we started the SSD. And the idea that they're coming next month to give tips and tricks to the businesses, I think that's part of what I love about them is they're here, they're downtown. They can continue to educate the businesses on how to take this content and make it continue to grow. So
There may be risk in not using them. Meaning why would the city look outside the city if the city's so great? Yeah, it's something to consider.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you were only to do a 6-month pilot, I mean, because the activities are so different throughout the year, how do you have a really good cross-section or understanding of
Yeah.
what it would do winter versus summer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like January through June is probably very different than what we have going on June through December.
Same time, we're most likely to get a pretty good bang for our buck during our event season.
Yep.
So let's do it then.
Yep.
That's-
That's what I'm saying. Do we already have engagement at that time where we need to focus on the times that we don't have the engagement that we currently have?
Pre-event season, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with you. Like, things are slow for us, January through June.
June, right?
And this would be curving into when things are going. But I think because we've got fast analytics, we can compare what we did last fall versus what they did this fall. And that is part of both of these is diving into our analytics and really understanding what we're creating today and then what it would look like if we did this spend. What Julie and I have talked about, and we've all talked about this, that things are more expensive now and we're trying to do more with the same budget. But we can't go and ask for a budget increase this year. It doesn't feel right. Everyone's coming out of road construction. We haven't really proven anything to the businesses that if we got more money, we could do more stuff. So what we've talked about is an ask to increase our budget would have to come in the fall of 2026. After we were able to show, hey, we did an event series, we created a pocket park, we have blown up our social media and it's viral in some cases. Then we could go and say, this is what we want to continue to do for you. This is what we'd like to set our new budget at. I don't know how you all feel about that, but that's just us talking, that it would feel not great to do that right now. And this pilot would allow us a piece of that.
Question, would expanding the boundaries of the SSD, maybe
That will
that's,
help a little too.
that's where the budget changes, is
Yep.
we have more businesses contributing to the SSD. So there's no sees a price increase, it's just additional participants.
And I only bring that up because when you look at this, if we were to tackle a full year of that, that's 20 grand.
Mhm.
That's a big part of our budget.
Okay, so we do a ton of social at the coffee shop and that's expensive, you know? And so would there be a way to find someone, not necessarily a business that is just kind of breaking into this, that we could use to get, because that's like, they're not even posting that much.
Oh.
And so like we have a young gal, I mean, she knows stuff that I'm like, well, I didn't even know that. So finding someone like that I don't know what you go on to do, you know, but someone that's starting out that has a passion for it, that it would be kind of a win-win for both people. Like it would give them a portfolio, some success. Maybe we would be kind of their guinea pigs, but yet we're not doing much anyhow. So, and we've done it before, so we would have some insight, but yet we would also gain a lot. from
Tagging off
them.
her idea, there's someone I had in mind that they just graduated from St. Ben's. Last year, they did kind of for Holy Family, they did their social media.
Okay.
I think they got paid, but it was kind of a paid internship. She just graduated and that's when I was thinking about contacting her. Now, as far as the equipment, even the price of that, I thought if we had, they're like, wow, this, and this. Yes. Would we be as a group better off buying some of the equipment that it would be our property that they would use? Because I understand you said about the video and doing more than just with an iPhone. But this young gal is big into photography and social media. I think her major was marketing. So that's the one I was thinking about as well. I don't know if she'd be interested or not, but if you get someone that's young, passionate, educated, really driven, wants to build a portfolio, yeah, I get paid some, but it's about experience and.
I agree with everything you're saying. The one thing I would highlight is what I would imagine they're going to bring as an agency is the market research, keeping in mind this person isn't posting for a business. They're posting for a city and being advocates for every business in said city. So the strategy behind it is, I think, what you're paying for. And I think as the potential to, even if you did it for the 6 months, to be able to compare and contrast what a newcomer to the scene, which I think is highly valuable, to what an agency would bring is you're not going to know until you truly compare and contrast, either through portfolio review. But my understanding is they're going to bring a wealth of knowledge and strategy to a much. So I think it's just something to consider, and you could even do both. Right? I think if we were funding as a group, the newcomer to the scene, who would require far less dollars, and they're posting on top of these posts, there could be something there. But I just would imagine they're going to bring a little something extra that someone brand new might not even be aware when it comes to covering so much territory. It's just something to consider.
I think the last point that you made is really interesting. Like this, and then someone who is trying to build their portfolio and maybe.
So it has a little bit of take a lead, but then they go in and do the additional 4 posts a week. You know, to get to that number. Because the next question is, what is the measure of success? When this is all said and done, how are you going to go back to the city and ask for an improved budget? What are you going to measure? Are we as downtown businesses going to give you information? Is it traffic during a summer when the road is closed? Like that, I think that the KPIs on that are going to be a trick. And so if you decide on the onset, that's great. But you don't want to decide after the fact when you're scrambling to look for, was this even worth it?
And I think that's where an agency is valuable in helping us determine what the KPIs are and what makes it a win. Because sitting here today, I couldn't tell you what they are. It's not my background. And like we need a subject matter expert, I feel like, to help guide us in.
Like that newsletter, it should be quadruple by the end of it, if not more, right? I mean, you should be able to see that while the word is out and the vibe is changing, but you have to have the measurement to get there. Yeah.
We don't have to make a decision on this today. I do think it's worth seeing if we can find some individuals who are trying to break in that we can maybe layer onto this. And we bring this back as maybe a July discussion. Because I do think if it's whatever we do, I look at the tail end of the year as being kind of the proof of concept as to whether or not it's something that we would look at next year.
Town College has got a great group of communication students that are looking for internships. We have one young gentleman that's doing an intern with our markets. We had one earlier this year, both of them from Crown, so.
Okay.
If
that'd
it's a
be,
portfolio building scenario, like you
Yeah.
mentioned, you could get 5 of them.
Mhm.
And I mean, as long as the tone of voice is appropriate, and that's where you have to have guardrails, but they get to put it on their LinkedIn.
Yeah,
They get to, I mean, you pay them
pretty cool.
a couple $100 for the summer. They may all jump on it.
And we did $15 for an hour for the internship because we wanted to have some skin in the game, but also gave them a lot of freedom to say, hey, this is your internship. And it's just, so I don't know, I think they both went really well. So,
Yeah, the guardrails are important. That's where I think this, if we layered them into something like this, then we've got the driver and then we've just got the supplemental.
That's something
pieces.
they would probably do as well.
Yeah,
Is put together all of the framework.
Yep.
To say.
yeah, because the launch piece, I don't go into like the monthly retainer, but the launch piece is that market research around what our tone should be, how we engage,
Okay.
yeah, all
That's
of
good.
that. And
Yeah.
so then we'd have that framework that we could give to individuals to help support this.
I think the cost is only an issue in the absence of value, but how do we track value? I think that's, and the other thing is, if I'm Orange Ball, I'm not sure I'm gonna want to collaborate with this person, because if I'm gonna be held accountable for the value that we're providing, and there's some other student doing this, it's like having 2 head coaches. I don't know if that'll work or not. I'm not saying.
I think they'd have to be separate.
But then
Absolutely.
Orange Ball's like, well.
Maybe part of what
this.
Orange Bowl is doing is building our capacity to manage this going forward with other types of help. So,
I think that's a good point. Like, could this proof of concept be enough knowledge for us to then
pick it up.
not use Orange Ball and just continue to use interns with what's built from this?
Yeah.
Has to fish, so to speak.
Yeah,
I think we all understand, this is what we need to do. We understand why, but many of us, me included, don't know how.
Yeah.
I say that all the time with social media. I understand what we need to do, I understand why. Don't ask me how, that's just not my thing. And to find someone that they're just giddy and passionate and about it. And we were talking, I think you get the young person, you said, we'll pay you half of that. They'd be like, sign me up. I just think a young person that's just chomping at the bit to build a resume would do it for a fraction of cost.
I know we're at 9. That was all of the fun that we had around what we've been working with Max on. Lisa, I want to give you back the floor because you had some ideas on naming the paseos as well. And I think we'll kind of close with that unless there's any other pressing news.
You want to know about a new restaurant?
Yes.
You didn't ask me for my updates.
Yep.
But I can tell you really quick that there's a Thai restaurant going in to where Tommy's was.
Ooh.
The owner, Muin, owns 2 others in Hastings and River Falls. So there will be a Thai sushi restaurant going in there.
Cool. And do you think
Someone just
we'll be able to announce that? July newsletter,
I mean,
right?
announce it.
Yeah, it's already been on social media.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We talked about it.
out there.
And they're okay.
And I didn't leak it, because I know you told me, I don't leak anything.
They put a sign out on the.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Alrighty, 2 things. Well, I want to just mention it beforehand. If any of you have some interesting things happening in your business buildings, you believe you have ghosts. If you I'm not saying ghosts do or do not exist. I'm just saying if you have stories about them, and you want to be featured as part of the hauntings and history tours, you need to connect with our researcher ASAP so that she can do the research on who it might be who is wandering around your property. Okay?
You guys have horses in your?
Well, many of you know that we recently acquired the Simmons building and Latino Voices is convinced.
It's the fire. Yeah.
They're convinced, in fact, one played an audio for me of sounds coming from the basement. I'm just, she said, I know you think I'm crazy. But anyway. they
So,
were-
yeah.
or-
If you want to participate in that, we need to know sooner. The big question that was brought to mind was exactly where are these paseos, which I tried to explain, and then along with that, are you looking for one name for the east side and one name for the west side? Or are you looking for one name for this little piece, for this little piece, for this little piece, and so on? And so with that in mind, it was very hard for people to come to any sort of conclusion because we don't know exactly if we're coming up with 4 names or 2 names or what.
I propose since they're not contiguous that they, because I explained right now, I'm like, well, there's one over there by Moravian Church and State Farm. There's one down there, so I refer to them separately. So I just think, because they're not contiguous, that, and I say, well, there's one there by Von Hansen's. So I explain them individually, not,
Mhm.
Okay.
so I just think
And-
regionally, if you will, or.
Are we thinking at this point just about the east sides? Or are we thinking long-term, what do we want for the west side as well?
That's a good question. Are we
Not yet.
doing anything on the west side that would resemble a paseo at any point?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, the hope is when
When
the,
Okay.
when we redo.
Square West, City Square West, yeah.
Yeah,
So yes, there would be.
Finalize.
Yeah. West potentially. And I think Steve is right. I think it's this side of the park and this side of the park. I think it's two.
I kind of
That's-
prefer it to-
One would be like City
Yeah.
Square West Paseo. I mean, if that's done and there's Paseos there. That's how I refer to them, because people are like, first of all, what's a Paseo? Where are they? And that's how I just explain the other.
Now, when I think about it, though, I think about it as one thing, river to the wine shop.
It's supposed
You know.
to be in theory, but it's still regional because people
And
don't.
the squares doesn't, yeah.
Is what I found. When people ask me, what are they, where are they? And I just explain, well, there's one up there by the Moravian Church. There's
So
one there down
look
by
at
Bonnie.
Excelsior, they kind of have 2 back sides to their main street. But they're not named at all. I mean, they're just kind of parking.
And keep in mind, we'll eventually have sort of a paseo on this side too.
Yeah.
So with that in mind.
We'll also have a paseo on this side of downtown too.
Oh, sure.
We
Okay.
did kick around some names, but again, it's just, these are, I almost hesitate to mention them because it really depended on the location. And so are you thinking 2? Are you 2 per side or 2 on the east side, 1 on the west?
Would that one on the west, because it would it just go through City Square?
Go all the way to the.
Or will it go all the way?
but it walks from the library.
I think it also depends on intent. Like if you're gonna use the names to indicate where something is,
Yep.
then it might make sense to have 2.
So I think it would probably be 2 on both sides.
Okay.
You don't have to share today if you don't want.
Well, I can. One of the things that we were kicking around for the east side would be, it depending on this place, Sugar Bowl Lane, which is very close to Sugar Lane, which might be a problem. But Dakota Money, which is Dakota for Path of the Dakota, which on the east side would make sense because the park's in there and such, but that's one where you'd of course have to check with the Metawakan to make sure it's okay. a ferry boat path, brick lane, those sorts of things, which aren't, they don't really pop, but they're appropriate. And then on the west side, this could be confusing, but courthouse passage or something, because the courthouse used to be there, but that might confuse people. Settlers Pass or Pioneer Path, something like that. So you could have the Dakota on the one side and the Settlers on the other, sort of thing. Opera House Lane. And then somebody, of course, mentioned the Tracy Swanson Paseo.
I wonder who mentioned that.
It was not Tracy. Anyway, so again, those names are really slim at this point, but it's because I needed clarification.
I think we're off to a good start.
Sure. Okay, so
Yeah, about 2 on.
Thanks for the coffee.
2 on each side. Okay.
Yes, thank you for the coffee.
I'll bring it every time.
Oh,
You just come every time. That's what we want, is
You
you.
know, it's on my list. I'm sorry, I have something else pop up at home.
No, we're over 2. All right, thank you for the
Okay.
work on that.
Sorry, those aren't very well developed, but
Well, it was a very
Conversation.
vague ask, so it's good that we're.
Yeah, at least it wasn't like Potteroski path. You know?
All right, anything else?
Curtis Court.
Shall we wrap? Yay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
It's a wrap.